Okay, well, I can work on that.
So it's a chronological history of the creek and the pool.
There you go.
Yeah.
But who knows when you walk the fence?
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents.
Okay.
Did you get it, Allison?
Yes, I did. I think I do it.
Thank you.
Hello, Mary.
Hello, good morning.
How are you? I'm good.
So why am I the only one with a mask? I thought the door said you had to have a mask on.
Yeah, I've got mine.
We're 6 feet apart here.
Yeah.
So we don't have to have a mask?
If you're 6 feet apart.
Are we 6 feet apart? It looks to me like we're 5.5 feet.
Face front,
Okay, all right, I'll just do it for you.
Perfect.
That'll work.
Perfect. Gosh, I can breathe better.
But now I'm too close to the microphone. You're all right.
How many cases?
21, I just heard. 1 left, everybody else is,
Is recovered.
yes.
Well, last month,
We're a hardy group here.
That's
Yeah.
good to know, because I tried to find out from the county
and
yesterday
everybody
how many
had
were
the card, and I
recovered.
felt bad.
Well, they told me it was 21,
And
but
this
didn't give me the
month I
recovery.
brought it, and nobody's got it on.
I thought we had to have a
Oh,
mask.
I didn't know that, thank
Worse.
you.
Oh, yeah, we keep
21
all
to
the
20.
I thought that was what the instructions were.
And that's what the office says. You can't walk in unless you got a mask.
So we still got 1 sick.
But, oh, well.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that, after you walk in, you
Yeah,
can
so
take it
far.
off, as long as you stay 6 feet away from it.
Yeah.
You see how cute mine is? I want to show everybody.
Oh.
Oh.
Dogs.
Where'd you get that?
My neighbor sewed it.
I will remember that next week, because they tried to keep
What was
everybody
that?
updated on that.
Dalmatian?
I don't know what. They're not my
What was
dogs.
her name, Bill?
What, Dalmatian?
Yeah, Corella DeVille.
Cruella.
Yeah,
Corella
There's
DeVille.
different brands.
So who's missing? Somebody's missing. Oh, Brianna.
That's a good point, I really thought about that.
Oh, I was going to say,
do that
it's
well.
a full table today.
But it's
No,
Brianna.
we're missing one.
Yeah, where is she? We don't
Almost
know.
there, guys.
It's a secret.
She-
Oh, Helen, for October,
You're out.
yeah, I was just thinking that if I knew who had the first person, I might be able to switch with that person.
Oh,
Because
really?
At the end of October, we're really into the
Sure.
car stuff. But the beginning is a little bit lighter.
Oh, good.
So if you'll look and see who has the first
First Thursday?
Thursday, I'll see if I can talk to that person.
No, no. There's only one person who has a definite schedule.
That's me.
Oh, well, 2 people.
The meeting is called to order. It's 9:30 a.m.
When I
on
asked,
August 19th, 2020. We do have a quorum. We are absent Rihanna Hay today, who has family medical issues to take care of. Being that, can I have a motion to excuse this as personal family medical business?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion from Dustin, second.
Second.
Second from Bill. All in favor? Okay. Brianna's absence is excused. Okay, could we please stand? Is there someone that would like to do a convocation or? Okay, come forward, please. Is that you, Katie?
You want me to come forward?
Sure.
Huh.
So everybody can hear you. You're fine there.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Lord, thank you for being with us this morning and giving us the opportunity to come together to support each other during this time of pandemic. We ask that you support us in a powerful way, that you guide our board and help them to make decisions and guide their discussions to the benefit of our members. We ask that we pray for the teachers and the students and our school system and our local county officials as we go into the first week of school. We ask all of these things in your name. Amen.
Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
Okay, we have the minutes, approval of minutes from the July 15, 2020 board meeting. Do we have any questions concerning the minutes? Have a motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
I'll abstain because I wasn't here.
Oh, I'll
That's
second.
true.
I just
That's
didn't-
true. Dustin wasn't here last week. Okay, we have a first and second motion. All those in favor of approving the minutes, raise your hand. Okay, we have 3. Okay, we have the treasurer's report. Bill? Oh, do you have anything? I'm sorry.
That's okay, no correspondence at this time.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking ahead of myself. Sorry about that. Bill?
Yes.
As of the 18th, which was yesterday, Texas Community Bank checking had $138,386.62. Credit card, $35,034.35. Money market, $8,593.61. Bank and Trust, Los Morris, $520.79. The restricted fund, $365,808.34. The general fund is $244,696.38. Historical, $14,960.71. And the tax account, $38,733.81. Profit and loss for Fort Clark Springs, October through July. Gross profit was $1,806,162.98. Expenses of $2,075,984.89 with a loss of $269,821.91. Restricted fund from October to July, October 2019, July 2020, income of $53,094.80, expenses of $17,981.19, net income $35,113.61. The restricted fund profit and loss for July, $5,191.20, expenses of $1,997.91, for a net income of $3,193.29. The profit and loss for July of this year, $170,600.96, expenses of $208,996.92, for a loss of $38,395.96. Los Morris profit and loss for July, income $2,104.09, expenses $1,078.71, with income of $1,025.38. Lost Marsh profit and loss for October 2019 to July of 2020 was income of $19,577.46, expenses of $27,099.98 for a loss of $7,507.42. That's what I got.
I like it.
It's-
Yeah, that's okay. It's mixed up in the stuff, I just found it this morning. For one thing, for those who wanted to know what the restricted fund balance of $362,967.19 includes, letter of credit guarantee for the TCEQ for our landfill is $152,000 of that. The amounts owed to the preservation fund, and that's the dollar that's collected out of the $4 that goes to the restricted fund, $22,929.30, and available to Fort Clark Springs associations for capital improvements and debt, $188,037.89. And then
Behind that one, Bill, is the other one.
Okay, I got it. I see it. Went by it. I beg to be apologized. Net income before estimated bad debts and depreciation. In July, we had a net loss of $35,396.96. Depreciation was $11,730.75. And the bad debt expense was $22,264.50, which made a net loss of $1,401.71. The October through July figures were $269,821.91 loss. Depreciation was $117,307.50. The bad debt expense was $227,814.90, with a net income of $75,349.
We also had a lot sale. This isn't exactly treasurer's report, but it's numbers. We had lot sales, transfer fees, and resale certificates of income of $1,525. And collections board report, we collected regular payment plan of $1,756. Delinquent notice memberships for $10,984. Delinquent notices from family recreation memberships, $1,080 for $13,820. Directors, any questions? Have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
I'll move to approve the treasurer's report.
Second?
Second.
Okay, we have two motions. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. Oh, it's an afterthought, just found it, sorry, because I just got it. We had a motel revenue for May of $9,557. We're getting there. Okay, the COVID count for Kinney County as of yesterday was 21, but I found out from Dustin, who keeps track of those things, that 20 of those are recoveries. So there's still one active case in Kinney County, so we're doing really well. No known deaths. We were able to find a solution for the pool in the low spring water. Philip Garcia, our field operations manager, identified the type of pump that could be used to bring water from directly below the spring into the pool. And we have to thank Tim Ward and Ashley Collier, who generously donated the cost of that pump to save the association some money. And we thank them for their generosity. The board agreed to a workshop on August 1st with the Architectural Committee to identify ways that the administration could assist with the clerical tasks involved with the ARC. ARC identified issues that they wanted to see resolved, and we're currently working with admin and security to provide the assistance where needed. We also met with Associa, an HOA management group. The meeting was a sales pitch only. They wanted to deliver it, we allowed them to, and we as a board determined that involving a management company was prohibitively expensive at this time, and we do not plan to go forward. That's the end of the discussion. So, we had one recent email vote. MUD informed our golf superintendent that because of delays in finishing the new holding pond, MUD would no longer be able to supply recycled water. This information was provided to the golf superintendent the day that there was no more water. So we had no way to plan for it. With the extreme heat of over 100 degrees, the course could not go without water for more than a couple of days, or the greens and the tee boxes would be severely damaged. And for those who are not golfers, after 2 or 3 days, the greens turn into basically sand when the grass dies. So you can't play on them or you do further damage. The new ponds were supposed to alleviate the need to purchase water. These are the ponds that MUD received a grant for. And one of those ponds was to collect extra water so it could not be discharged into the creek, because TCEQ no longer permits that. The cost of rebuilding the greens alone would have exceeded the cost of purchasing water. So in a 3-2 vote, we authorized up to 3 million gallons or $1,800 to water the greens and the tee boxes only. The fairways will have to depend on Mother Nature. Monday's rains, last night we didn't really get any, but Monday's rains may have given us a day or two breathing room, even though it was only about a half an inch at the golf course. That's up to $1,800. Mr. Peterson will be talking to Randy at MUD to determine what caused the delay, and whether, or the need to actually draw down the pond. We're hoping to negotiate with MUD if the delay is MUD's fault to reduce or waive paying for water. It's just that the $1,800 is sitting there if we need it. Directors Mummy, Herman, and Hagan voted to authorize the limited water purchase on an emergency basis. Director Smith objected until he had additional information. Obtaining the information we felt would take longer than the greens had before damage occurred in extreme heat. And Director Hay didn't actually vote yea or nay, so we'll consider it and abstain. And to answer a question before it's asked, the golf course serves many more people than the pool. And people, members, and guests, everyone must pay to play the golf course. It's not included in your assessments. Currently, the golf course revenue has increased significantly because Del Rio closed its course due to increasing COVID cases, and Del Rio golfers are coming here. Damage to the greens and the tee boxes could have caused players to go elsewhere, would have caused players to go elsewhere. And members who have already paid annual and 6-month and 3-month memberships would have been restricted from that play after they had already paid. So this is historically something we do every summer. I think there's only one summer, maybe 2, that I can remember in the 10 years I've been here when we did not have to purchase water from MUD. The price is the same, $600 for 1 million gallons of water. I was informed yesterday by our accounts payable employee that Rio Grande Electric, due to a 2019 special retirement fund, we get a $7,629.29 credit.
Yay.
So the current charges for our Rio Grande Electric are $6,430.83. So a credit remains of $1,198.46, which will go toward the next payment. So this July, for the July payment, we don't have to pay anything because of the credit.
That's great.
Good news.
Yeah.
And finally, we are very pleased to announce the hiring of Alan Peterson as Executive Officer General Manager on August 13th. And in a matter of 3 days, he's already worked on department budgets, interviewed employees, and toured the grounds, including walking the golf course in the rain. And he'll be telling you about himself shortly. Okay. So,
Don't get used to that rain.
yeah. He says he comes from hurricane country, so he's going to bring rain. Okay, we will go to committee reports. Airport submitted a report, so they have nothing to report. most of the individuals there are Winter Texans, and there's only 1 or 2 pilots that use during the summer. Okay, next is architectural.
Mr. Alaknis sent me an email yesterday for his report. It says, "We are continuing to meet every week. Houses and carport permits are hot. The ARC is working with staff to get out paperwork issues resolved. We briefly met with Mr. Peterson, Julie, and Matt. I think we are all on the same page." Joe Alaknis, Chairman.
Okay, golf. Katie, do you have a report?
I think I can give it from here. I have a pretty good voice for crowds, for rooms. They had the Cajun tournament, the golf committee had the Cajun tournament last month. It was the 2nd annual tournament. It was extremely successful. Everybody had a great time. There were 16 4-man teams, and they netted more than $8,000. That tournament alone is, the money that comes in from that tournament goes back into our golf course for things like sand, seed, equipment repair, greens upkeep, etc. So that's money that the fort doesn't have to put into the golf course. That comes from the golf committee. The Del Rio bunch that came over during the closing of the course in Del Rio was a real blessing to us. It brought a lot of income in, and the gentlemen and ladies were super nice people. At the end of last week, the course in Del Rio opened up on Saturday, so we won't see them over here quite as often unless, and there is speculation they'll reclose that course. But I'd like to read this real quick. This was a card that was presented to the golf committee, or it was presented to Trent for the golf committee to be used as they fell towards the golf course. It was to Cash, Trent, and all the Fort Clark Golf Course staff and members. And by the way, they tipped the ladies at the golf course. I don't know the exact amount they gave to each of the ladies at the golf course for their hospitality during the time that they were here. Thank you all so much for taking in the Del Rio golfers. You welcomed us as friends and family, from loaning personal carts, allowing us to park our carts in your cart barn, and your members allowing us to park carts at their homes. It was a real pleasure playing alongside the Fort Clark guys. You made us feel like we've been playing with you all for many years, and we made a lot of good friends over the past few weeks. We hope we can return the favor soon. In the meantime, please accept the enclosed donation to the Fort Clark Springs Golf Course. They donated $500 to be used towards work on the course. It was signed by the Del Rio golfers, and there were 21 on that. And just as to what's coming up, the Happy Tournament is coming up at the end of September. The Happy Cervantes Memorial Tournament will be September 25th and 26th. And the Kinney County Church Alliance Tournament is scheduled for October 31st, and it will be combined with the Halloween tournament. So keep those in mind and come out and play. It doesn't take a lot of skill, just have a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. And we have to have the course in good shape for both of those. Preservation.
I too would prefer to do it right here if it's okay. Can you hear me? Out?
It has to be able to be heard on Facebook, so.
Okay. Kudos to Sandy Herman and H.N. Bitter. They took on the project of securing the firehouse, which has been unsecure for years. And they also cleaned and cleared away brush. Preservation's the board itself is trying to step up and be busy out in the community, not just making decisions and watching contractors. So it's our intention to do that with every building that the fort owns over the next few months. Hopefully it'll cool down. But anyway, that's what we're doing. We're engaging a group of volunteers just for preservation, so we can run around and make sure our buildings are taken care of. The other thing is the stonemason is working on all the sites contracted for. he has offered, we have a lentil, you know what a lentil is? It's the top of a window in the commissary that is open to the open air, to the weather. And it's about this wide. He has offered to fix the first one for free so we can see the quality of his work. And if we like what we see, we have 13 more to fix over time. It's nothing we're gonna do in 1 year, but you know, we're just trying to keep the building secure from the weather. We don't want it to fall down. I mean, if that starts to crumble, we could lose that whole floor. Volunteers have started to remove trees off the cemetery wall that we're repairing. That's the problem. Trees are literally growing up through the wall, and maintenance doesn't have time to deal with that. So we're trying to take on some of these volunteer projects with people. That's all I have for preservation. Thank you for that rather quick approval for the stone layer. That was kind of done a little.
Okay, it was quick approval because they're paying for it.
Well, it needed to be
Except for
done.
part of it, was minimal damage compared to some of the other damage that was caused by an automobile, and we're still trying to get that specific amount from the.
There's two of them, aren't there? Wasn't the cemetery the same thing?
That was a different one, yeah.
But I know what a car.
A car. I haven't found those claims records yet on that one, so, but on the one in the front, we do have it, this person was insured, we just need to send them a copy, and as soon as we can get it from the contractor, breaking it out per job, then the insurance company will pay for that.
I might have that. I'll see if I can get you that.
Okay, I would appreciate it, because we're still holding the claim file.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Recycling, please.
Good morning. I have 4 things. August 6th, we got rid of 42 of those huge containers and 2 bales of plastic. So we don't know right now what that's going to bring in. But I know the cost of the shipping is always $500. So we're probably going to be behind as usual. Secondly, we're going to be closed, that's a Saturday for the annual meeting, so we won't be there August 29th. The proposal that I gave to the city is still out there. It is, the last I heard from the city manager was during our budget talks, I'm going to bring up the discussion about the proposal that I gave them for recycling. And the last thing is Keep Texas Beautiful is an organization in Austin who wants to support Cleanup Day, September 11th, and they will give to groups, members of households, etc., trash bags. This is all for free. Trash bags, work gloves, disposable masks, and hand sanitizer. And if you do anything with TxDOT to maintain the roadway in cleanup efforts, they'll add other supplies. So that's fabulous. That's my recycle. Any questions? Okay, the next thing on the agenda is, I'll just keep standing here. This is the Las Morris Restoration Project Report. This comes from Chris Hale, who is the chairperson, and I just have a short report. As reported last month, the important next step is to obtain a complete engineering study to identify, among other things, the estimated cost of a repair. We're investigating how to pay for this study and have submitted a grant application to the Kai-Pu Foundation. And decision on the application is expected by October. We also began exploring potential paths for future grants to accomplish the actual repairs. On a separate subject, we initiated repairs to the Los Morris Spring Historical Marker. We're contacting the Texas Historical Commission to identify options for the placement of the marker. And we want to avoid a repeat of the vandalism that damaged it a few years ago. When we have any specific information, we'll come back to this board with recommendations for reinstallation of the important marker. That's it. Questions? Good.
Thank you.
Sure.
And last committee, the ad hoc bylaws committee.
Okay, as you know, this is a new committee. We have some new members who've stepped up to be volunteers. We're happy with that because, well, we need to constantly be massaging new volunteers. The group is moving right along. We've had 3 meetings. We're working well together. We even have a computer guru that's going to help us when we're done. This is what the bylaw says. Underneath it in red is what we're proposing. That'll make it easier for you all to figure out where you're going with this when you get it. We're working well together, and we hope to be done by the end in September and have something to you for October. Any questions or?
Who's on that committee?
You had to ask me that. Travis is, I am, Sharon Gregor is, Sandy Herman is, what's the lady, Barbara McFadden, Memo, and Judy. We have a nice mix of old and new.
Yes. Experienced and also new. Okay. Do we have a community council report?
Yeah, that's me again. I'm sorry, but everybody called, you know, Natanya called me last night. I can't make it. Okay, this is quick. Please keep an eye out for the notice of the first Saturday in September cleanup. As you are aware, they're trying to do something the first of every month, and it's still in the planning stages, so they haven't finalized where they're going. But look for the dispatch, probably from Julie. The next meeting will be the second Saturday in September. We hope to continue volunteer work monthly, first Saturdays again of the month. In your unit, this is to members in general, hopefully that are listening, if your unit needs work, please contact the community council. We would be happy to come out and look at what you need done and decide if we can be of help. So please contact us at any time if your unit needs something that you need help with. There's lots and lots of cleanup to be done around here. Many hands makes light work. Can make all the difference as to whether or not we succeed at this. Finally, this came in this morning. This was hot off the press. This Saturday, the community council will be unloading the trailer at Shafter Hall that they moved into from when they were asked to move out. And we'd like as many people who might have the time to come down for an hour and a half to help them at least get it in the building where the air conditioning is, and they'll take their time and move back into it at their leisure. So that's the end of that one. And I'm done.
When is that, when are they gonna?
This Saturday.
This Saturday.
Yep, and I think she said starting at 7:30 a.m. The earlier the better.
Okay. If you have anything you want to post that, might get it in right away.
Can you do that, Julie? Okay, thank you.
She's our dispatch guru.
Send me what you want to say.
I gotta do it that way.
I might forget by the time we get done with it.
Well, we didn't hire her for ESP. Okay, there's no unfinished or old business. New business, we're going to introduce Alan Peterson as our new general manager. Because we're going to introduce we are really, really, really happy and fortunate that he decided to become part of the Fort Clark Springs Association family. And he's currently staying in the motel and he's been looking around for someplace a little bigger and a little more convenient than a non-kitchen motel room. But anyway, I'd like to ask Alan to get up and tell you a little bit about himself and what he'd like to see done here. He's only been here like 3 days, and like I said, he's already jumped in with, I mean, he's up to his neck in alligators already, so.
I
Alan?
went to the gun club and got a target, put it on my back. So,
Alan, come here too. I just don't know if you can pull that mic out.
okay. Well,
There you
can everybody hear me? Yeah. My name is Alan Peterson. For those researching me, it's actually Carl Allen Peterson. So if you're having problems finding me, I am a native Texan, 5th generation Texan, but I've been living outside of Texas for the last 30 years. I've been in the hospitality business, managing probably the most different type of place than it's here. I've been on oceanfront resorts in South Carolina. A week ago, I was in a hurricane and looking at the ocean, so there's quite a difference from where I've been for the last 30 years, but where I am now. I have to say it is great being back in Texas. Once you're a Texan, it's sort of hard to get out, and I've always considered myself, this is home. The heat feels absolutely great. I enjoy it. Y'all have an amazing amount of things to work with here. Hopefully the teamwork here will improve so we make some major improvements everywhere and see y'all's vision come true here. I think everybody has an idea what they want to see and where it needs to go, and hopefully we'll accomplish something in the next couple of years.
He's got a lot of experience with everything we need.
I do have an open door policy, so my office is open for anybody to come in and talk. I have no problem voicing honest opinions to everybody, or what I think can happen, what will happen. I'll be straight up and honest with anybody that comes in, so that is not a problem.
I would respectfully request that you give him a little bit of time to get his feet wet before everybody lines up in front of his office. There's some work to be done.
He's had 3 days.
It's just a request. It's his office.
Be nice, be polite, be kind, wear your mask. Okay. We did one email approval. Normally this is something that we would like to have done at a board meeting, but last week, earlier when COVID came up and the Payroll Protection Act became available to businesses, we weren't really sure that we would be able to qualify for the PPP loan. So amongst all of the other madhouse stuff we had to do, our accountant finally got to it and looked at our tax documents, our loss of revenue during COVID from the motel basically shutting down, people canceling venues, and just all in all losing money, was able to apply for the PPP loan. We didn't find that out until last week. We could not wait to the board meeting because Friday was the final day to file for the, it's a forgivable loan for the payroll protection plan loan. So we weren't able to discuss it thoroughly at a board meeting because we would have missed the filing date. The papers were filed last week with the with Bank and Trust. They filed them with the government. We were notified that the loan was approved. It's based on 2.5 times payroll and has to be used, actually use 60% for payroll. They made a change in June. It used to be 70%, but we are using all of it for payroll. I notified our local bank yesterday to move the money into a separate account so we Because our auditor, for audit purposes, because it has to all be reported, said a separate account would be easier because we could easier show the transfer of funds for each pay period, so last for 2.5 pay periods, okay? The total amount that we qualified for was $192,573.90. Now, we also have the paperwork to file to have the loan forgiven. And our auditor and our bookkeeper are pretty certain that that the loan will be forgiven. Now, they can forgive all or part of it. I had a phone call into the bank yesterday to work with our local to get these documents filed, ready to go and filed at the proper time. So what this would result in doing was paying $192,574 toward our payroll. And forgiven, that would leave $192,573 in our accounts for other uses. And it's good timing because even if it weren't for all of it wasn't forgiven or none of it, it's a 1% interest rate, which you cannot get in anybody's market. Coming up after the first of the year, we are going to be required to dig a new cell at the landfill. And that's a very expensive proposition. You have to hire an engineer, surveyors, TCQ is involved in it, and without the new cell, we have to close the landfill. So some of this money may be needed for that, so it comes at a good time. Anyway, so the money is in the bank. I'm going to be meeting with the bank to get started on the forgiveness application. And if everything turns out the way our auditor and our bookkeeper say, it's going to be forgiven. Okay? So we are ready to go. The board has given the note. We signed the promissory note. There's a complete explanation, all the board packets. You can go online and look up the act. This is where I got this information and read all about it. But I think we're very fortunate to have qualified for this help, along with millions of other businesses, thousands of other businesses. Do any of you directors have any comments?
Yes, this is a federally backed loan just for the COVID, helping small businesses out with COVID. So the loan amount is not so huge and the interest rate is so low that should for some reason that we thus far have not been able to ascertain, we don't qualify for forgiveness. It's not a loan that is going to hurt us badly if we have to pay it back at the interest rate that's advertised. So, having said that, we're fairly confident that it will be forgiven.
What's the term?
Pardon me?
What is the term of the loan?
2 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
2
2-year
years.
loan.
Yes, and we've got all the deadlines to meet, and we were ecstatic when we found out about it. It was actually Dustin's idea we should check on it, but then a little bit of checking we did. They have actually changed requirements since it was first passed, enacted. So that let us go. And there's another thing that's in our favor is we post significant losses every year with our income taxes, which is actually a benefit because we pay no federal income tax. And but this is going to be very helpful. It's going to definitely replace lost income due to COVID because this is continuing. COVID's not gone yet, and we're still not getting the venues. So this is a good thing. Like he mentioned, at those interest rates, we almost assuredly would have had to obtain a loan for the new cell at the landfill. And the interest rate would have been way beyond the 1%. So it's a good deal. Okay.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
No?
No? We were ecstatic when we found out about this.
Well, only, did you say that we approved it?
Yes. By email.
Yeah, right, but I mean, I didn't, okay.
Yeah, it's all. We have the promissory note right here. Okay. Next item. It isn't actually a old business because we never had the votes or the motions to even address the issue of going back from Wednesday to Saturday meetings. And it came about to be, I mean, perfectly clear, perfectly open about this. It came about because Director Hay did make a remark about having some difficulty attending this next one and suggested we may want to reconsider it. But then on second thought, she wanted to table it. But we have already got it on the agenda, and the only way we could table it is if the directors agree. I know that Robert has an issue, possible issue coming up with his teaching that would affect his attendance. Robert, do you want to talk about that?
Well, as most of you know, substitutes are typically older retired workers. And so we were told, the teachers in my district, that we needed to understand that if we had appointments or something, we needed to, doctor's appointments or whatever, try to do them on Saturdays, because the chances of finding subs that would come in and work in a classroom setting with students in the room this year would be highly difficult. So we would probably be told no for some of our personal days. So if we keep the meetings on Wednesdays and instead of moving them to Saturdays, there is a possibility I would have to get excuses for 2, 3, or 4 of those meetings upcoming.
Dustin, any comment?
I have no comment other than this was put on the agenda based on a comment made by a director who's not here, so I would move to table this until she's back available to discuss it.
Okay, this would, no, we'll address it no later than the next meeting to accommodate another director that does have a specific problem. Do you have a second to table this till?
Second. Are we open for discussion?
Yes, we're open for discussion.
Okay, great. The only thing is if we're going to table it this time, and we're probably not going to have a full board at the next meeting if I can't get us up. So we're still going to be 4 directors. But I will voice my opinion so that if I'm not here, you can do it. I would be in favor of moving the meetings to Saturday, just not for myself, but because since February so many members have requested the meetings be moved to Saturdays. So.
Thank you. Bill?
No, I agree with Robert. You know, what's wrong, you know, I don't care because I don't work. So it doesn't matter to me. But, you know, it would be a lot easier on the board and even maybe some of the employees that we wouldn't be here annoying them.
Again, I want to make it, this is, these are regular board meetings. They are business meetings for the board of directors. You are here because all meetings must be open to our membership. But it's essential that the directors be able to attend the meeting and in some fashion. And it's not because he can't use technology to interact with us because he's in the classroom. So he can't break away for that either. So it doesn't affect me either. I am retired, fortunately. So I think we need to get all the directors here within at least the next month. Dusty? Okay.
No, I agree. I would also like to make it very clear that these meetings are not for the membership. These are meetings for the board of directors to conduct for business. Currently, I'm on a detail at work that permits me weekends off. That will come to an end, and I will not be working weekends. So then I will be in the boat that you're in for the weekend meetings. It's a tough thing. So I would really like to have the full board here before we make a decision on this.
Okay. And you moved to table it till September,
I did move to table it until the next board meeting.
which is in September. Do I have a second?
Yes, I second.
Okay, seconds it. Those in favor of tabling till the September meeting? Okay, this is tabled to the September meeting. Okay, and this has come up again. The hunt And I'm not asking for members' opinions on this because it's like Dustin said, this is a business meeting for the board of directors. The hunt has come up again because after the committee worked on the cost, what's really at issue here, and we need to resolve it today because we have people that are already wanting to book their hunts, and our price structure has not been published yet. So Dustin is on that committee, Rihanna's gone, but Dustin's on the committee, and Matt is here. There is a difference of opinion on what we should be charging for the various levels of the hunt. So Dustin, I'm going to turn this one over to you and to Matt.
Okay, Matt, please come up to the microphone. I would, the meeting that we had involved myself, Director Hay, Matt Bland, who runs the hunting program on the fort, Mr. Philip Garcia, who assists Mr. Bland in running the hunt program, our local Kinney County game warden, and the state biologist that works on the fort's hunting program for numbers and goals and whatnot. So my position is, and has been since I moved here in 2006, that we have a serious problem with the numbers. We have a whole bunch of deer on this fort. When I moved here, you saw whitetail everywhere and a few axes here and there. That is completely inverse today, and there are axes running amok on this place, and we still have, you know, a fair number of whitetails, but we have too many deer overall, and that's plain. The biologist has said that. Of course, he only gives us a certain number of whitetail that we need to take off of here. He doesn't count the exotics because they're not native game in Texas, but it's a ridiculous number. And should, God forbid, we ever get one of these diseases in the deer here, it's going to be catastrophic. I mean, people are going to be pulling deer out of their front yards that have died. It's not going to be good. And it's not good for the flora and the fauna that live here that aren't deer populations. So my objective is to get numbers down to a reasonable level. We live right on the edge of what they consider the golden triangle for Texas deer hunting. This place has the potential to grow very large deer, and we can turn this into a serious money-making hunting operation for the fort from outside hunters to come and be blessed to use our property and take huge deer. But we'll never get there if we don't get the number of mouths off of here. So all of that just to say, I want numbers down. There are other factions, and Director Hay, bless her heart, is one of them, who see it more as an income generating thing. So we have to balance that, right? The hunt program effectively doesn't cost us much. We have to buy corn, we have to buy materials to build blinds, you know. Mr. Bland and his volunteers, we already pay his salary, and volunteers volunteer to help him out. So it's very minimal cost, and it brings in a significant amount of money every year. My position as far as the owning membership, the people who get that shared tax bill every year, we own this property, and we therefore own the animals on it. And it should not cost us an arm and a leg to enjoy that for ourselves. So in this committee meeting, we determined that we would like to minimize the pressure on the membership as far as the income generation goes, and lower our pricing scale a little bit for non-owning members and for non-members altogether, in an effort to increase the number of people who come participate in order to help take some of these deer off the I know there are a lot of people here who love their deer, and I can assure you, we will never, ever, 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 if we made the hunting program free for everybody, come close to the goals, which is why we have the trapping program, which is a separate discussion that I won't get into here. But so the fee structure that we decided on in that committee meeting was, if you are a property owning member on Fort Clark Springs and you help pay a portion of the common property tax, if you decide to participate in the hunt program, you will write Fort Clark Springs a check for $50 per season. And you may hunt does only. You only shoot does. You can hunt as often as you want, shoot whatever does that you can eat. But that is more than paying for the corn bill and the material cost to build these blinds. For non-residential or FRM memberships, it's $50 per day per hunt, which entitles you to 2 doe. Our buck fees, we decided on $1,500 for bucks. You know, outside of the judgment that we left to Mr. Bland as the hunt director for, you know, young kids who are getting into hunting that make a mistake and shoot a button buck or a small spike that they thought was a doe. He has the ability to, you know, waive any buck fees on that. But if you want to shoot a buck deer, it doesn't cost you $1,500. So our pricing scale used to range from, what was it, $500 for babies?
Yeah, it went from 0, then it started at $750 and worked its way up to, and we ended up at $2,000.
$2,000. So depending on how big the buck was that you shot, there was a scale. So we basically met in the middle of that and said, if you want to shoot a buck, you're going to cut the fort $1,500 check. So that's going to put more pressure on people to shoot the larger bucks. But if they just decide, and we've had several that did, that decided, I like the way that one looks, I'm going to shoot it, even if it wouldn't be considered what we would consider a trophy, they're going to pay $1,500 for it. For non-members, the hunt will be $100 a day. That entitles them to 2 doe for that day's hunt. If they don't shoot 2 doe, that's still a $100 hunt. Any additional doe on top of that will be $200 per doe. There's not a whole lot of people that, you know, shoot more than 2 doe in one day's hunt. But if that happens, these are in the rule packet that they get, so it's no. It's not an issue. Like I said, Matt has absolute discretion on the juvenile bucks. You know, he can count them as a doe if he wants, and if he thinks somebody's just shot it just because they're trigger happy and they knew, he can charge them for it. That's in his wheelhouse. And we as the committee and the board have given him that leeway. Whitetail bucks, he has cull bucks. You know, if Matt decides it's a cull buck, it's one we need off, you take it like a doe. You know, and that's within his purview as well. Whitetail bucks, we're looking to take, you know, good mature bucks off of here. So we want them 3.5 years old, unless one walks out with a broken leg because some kid hit it on Fort Clark Road or something. You know, we want good deer taken off of here because we're trying to incorporate a bit of management in with our numbers game. Turkeys will be included in your hunt, javelinas, feral hogs, predators, you know, all those things are part of it. And then what we've done is we've modified the voucher program because it's a really great program, but it's one that you kind of have to keep in a window. We have the ability to maybe lose a little bit of money if we sell too many of them, but it's a great program to have because it affords people who legitimately just want to shoot one to eat the opportunity to get one without having to pay this recurring $100 a day fee. So what we decided on was to